Hello, everyone. Welcome again. We're almost at the end, but we definitely appreciate you guys for all your support and just being here. So we're going to introduce our next presenter from Temple. Nick, over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, excited to be here today. Today I want to talk to you about timesheets and structure and the integrations between them. This is going to be an ongoing theme of Tempo. I'm sure people in the room are well aware of the Old Street Solution acquisition today. I was actually part of ALM Works, which was acquired as well. We are acquiring all these companies and just integrating them together, and it'll be interesting to see where that keeps going. But yeah, let's jump into it. So I'm Nick Ellis. I'm here with my colleague Philip, who's in the audience, today I want to talk to you about the current state of these existing integrations between Tempo timesheets and structure specifically. We have this kind of mantra at Tempo. We're always talking about building better together, kind of getting that 1 + 1 = 3 synergy of different products working together and providing more value. I think that the Tempo and structure combination is especially unique because they have this nice kind of yin and yang. Timesheets is trying to do something very specific. It's very, I have a use case that I'm trying to solve for. I'm pointed at this one specific thing, and structure is the exact opposite. Structure is very open-ended, and so when we can start to pull in data from timesheets, pull in data from other sources, we can start to answer some really, really interesting questions. So today I want to talk specifically about these project visualizations and the information that we can extract here. There's a lot of different options and things, but I want to focus specifically on Jira Service Management or IT Service Management as a use case, just so we have something concrete to talk about. The idea is that these visualizations are for every level of the organization. So whether you are, just kind of bottom of the pyramid and kind of doing day-to-day work and logging your time in timesheets, or if you are, senior leadership and you want to see what's going on, we want to make this information available to radiate for everybody from the top to the bottom. Using structure and timesheets in this ITSM use case, hopefully we're, getting to the customer faster. Structure is really good about those live updates. It's really good for triage. I'm looking for issues like this, and if anything comes up, I want to see it immediately so that way we can get that response. And then, if those service support team people, are logging their time in timesheets, giving us this granular data to understand, how they're spending their time, where the problems are arising, and what's going on. There's a lot that we can extract there. I know people often think of these support cases as, kind of firefighting and risk mitigation and we don't want things to go wrong, we want to solve problems. But I think often there are really great opportunities to solve people's problems, to win them over, to help them find the right way to solve these problems. And I know I already mentioned kind of this idea of visualizing this stuff to leadership so that way we have these insightful reports, visibility. We can't manage what we can't measure, so putting this all in one place for that information radiation is going to be key. This is exactly what I was talking about, those service management efficiencies. So structure is going to make it easier for us to get to those critical customers quicker. Here I'm grouping by that severity. So I've got these severity 1 issues, that are, of course, the most urgent that I want to get to. Sorry, they're marked as the lowest urgency, which is a little bit silly. In generally, your severity 1 is downtime and something that needs to be dealt with immediately. And having that real time, up to the minute data is super critical there. And then, this is, of course, a structure screen, but we're pulling in this accounts data from Tempo, so that way, we can organize our teams into teams and greater accounts. We can log time. We can break that time into, billable and non-billable. We can then pull that into structure. To just get a really nice view, a really granular view with all these abilities to break down and drill down into what's going on. And then same idea here with teams. Of course, we can stack these. We can do account and then teams and then other subdivisions. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the kind of unlimited hierarchy of structure here. Yeah, a lot of really cool options here. And then this is one of our newest integrations, very specific here, is getting this Tempo work log time and being able to pull in like billable time only. This may look really simple. I know it just looks like, oh, you added a column. But the really exciting part is that now this information can be pulled into those expert formula columns. So we can do that custom calculation on this data, make it more understandable at a glance. So yeah, this is that high-level view. We're looking at multiple months of data, and even right here, we can make some like pretty interesting assumptions because although May had our most time to first response SLA breached, it actually didn't have our longest time to first response. So it looks like in June, we may have had some really weird tickets that took a really, really long time, maybe multiple days to get to. That's like throwing our average off here. But this is really hard to see if we don't have, a tool to aggregate and synthesize this data into something that is understandable at a glance. And of course, we can view multiple JSM projects, multiple projects of any type in Jira, but not like this, more like this. So we can see, what's going on, what different teams are working on, and again, we're highly agnostic. So if teams are defined by project, or teams are defined in timesheets, or teams are defined by, something else, it doesn't matter. You don't have to change your process for the tool. The tool is going to be flexible enough to kind of adapt to whatever you're doing. And then, this idea of time management efficiencies, get better insight into how, our agents are spending time. Because if we just have something like, I logged, 8 hours or 2 days or whatever on this ticket, we can see overall time. But when we start to break that down a little bit more, and again, going into that service management kind of support use case, maybe it's something like, how long does it take for us to set up the environment? How long does it take for us to schedule a call with the customer to, talk to them and walk through the solution? How long does it take to, replicate the issue and debug and kind of do all these different steps? Because, if the problem is that these support agents are spending a ridiculous amount of their time just setting up the environment and replicating the correct versions to get this bug, that's not a them problem. That's a their the support of support who's setting up their environments, getting a little bit meta here. And if we don't have that granular data, we're not going to be able to ask these questions. Yeah, and then here is. Again, that idea of we want this information to radiate. So of course we've got this ability to, share. So that's what we're doing right here is we're basically setting up some columns. We've added the billable column here. And then we're sharing this and sending this to some other users. This information is only as good as the people who see it and are able to act on it. Thank you. And I would love to go into more depth, but I am running out of time here. I really appreciate the reminder there. But yeah, and then here again, we're getting this idea of what are our teams doing. Of course, all this information is, up to date. So if people are updating things in Jira, logging more time, changing the status of issues, all those things are going to be, represented here. And that's the idea. You don't have to know really how these things work. You're just on the issue, login time like you usually do. And because all of these things kind of have the backbone of Jira, they're all working on the same information. So yeah, this is kind of just my recap here. So I guess I'm kind of right on schedule. But yeah, these are the main pieces that I talked about today, and kind of how they work. I guess the one big one that I didn't specifically include here is that idea of billable hours and time from timesheets being separate. But yeah, we're able to take in Teams accounts, billable hours, and other information from that Tempo timesheets, and then we're able to aggregate that data so we can look at a large segment of it and try to understand it, and then maybe do some calculations on it with Expert to answer those questions. But yeah, this is really just the beginning. As we continue, we'll see greater integration, greater flexibility, and I know the keynote speaker, Anu there, was talking about that, the topic of AI and how that's going to be an ongoing topic with both the keynote tomorrow and probably throughout this week. We also have some AI stuff to talk about, the talk after this. So hopefully you guys will stay around and listen for it. But yeah, thank you so much for your time.